And it's been a good World Cup for India's bowlers. So I'm glad I've got one next to me just to, again, stress on how good India's bowlers have been. We're going to look at their numbers, but just first up, what's impressed most about the Indian fast bowling unit?
I think the attacking intent. I think MS Dhoni's obviously gone up to the bowlers and told them, and it's okay in today's cricket if you go for a few runs as long as you pick wickets. And that's the only way I think you can almost put pressure on the opposition, because most teams nowadays bat till 7, 8 and 9 and very hard to stop if you don't get early wickets. And especially Shami and Umesh, I think they've been standout guys for India. They've bowled with, obviously they both have good speeds, Umesh a little bit quicker. But they've bowled with accuracy and a lot of aggressive intent, which is nice to see. Even against Pakistan on a good batting pitch in Adelaide, they got wickets every time they were brought into bowl, which put Pakistan on the back foot. Otherwise, 300 these days is very, very chaseable.
Yeah, well, let's look at their numbers now, and this will impress a lot of people because there was so much criticism about this Indian bowling attack through the course of the Test series. But they're a different unit in one-day cricket. Mohammad Shami, we've said, is the highest wicket taker in ODIs all over the world in the last couple of years, and an average of 11.11 in this World Cup. That is mighty impressive. You look at Umesh Yadav, goes for a few more than Mohammad Shami does on economy, but it's been a good World Cup for him, an economy rate of under 5 and 6 wickets at 23.5. Mohit Sharma, you heard him just a little while back saying that his role is just to maintain the pressure that Shami and Umesh have already established up top, and 6 wickets at 19.5, and again an economy rate of under 4. These are good figures for India's seam attack. So let's probably get a deep talk about each one of them individually. It's not often we get to highlight the importance of the bowlers. Mohammad Shami takes a lot of beating, got a lot of criticism from a lot of ex-India cricketers during the tests on accuracy. How has he changed? How do things change with the white ball with Shami, Ajit?
Well, obviously, test matches, you do it over 5 days. It's a little bit different. And they didn't bowl well enough in the test matches. You've got to admit the pitches were flat as well. 3 out of the 4 tests were pretty dead. I mean, you come to Australia, you don't think those are the sort of pitches that you'll bowl on. One-day cricket has always been good. I think with the white ball generally up front tends to do a little bit more than maybe the red ball. And takes wickets, which is you look at his career average, it's still under 25, which is phenomenal. If he maintains that through his career, it'll be a great record that he'll have. Wickets, one-day cricket's changed so much with that rule of 5 fielders inside the ring. If you don't take wickets, and he bowls genuine wicket-taking balls. He does go for a few runs at times, Shami, which I think and which has not happened in this tournament from any of them. They've bowled economically as well, but that's partly because they've been taking wickets. When you keep getting good batsmen out early, you're not going to go for runs. It's hard to put a... you can't be certain why it changes so much from one-day cricket to test cricket. But in one-day cricket, I don't think they've put a foot wrong. Not just now. I mean, they've been criticised because of their test performances when they are playing one-day cricket. But in one-day cricket, even in the tri-series, I think the bowlers were quite good.
Do certain bowlers just take to the format better? You were a lot more successful in one-day cricket, had a wicket-taking ability, which everyone speaks of. Did certain bowlers just like the game more?
Well, I can't speak for Shami. I think
the
white ball behaves a little bit differently. Of course, the batsmen are coming at you. If you bowl well, there's a little bit more chance of getting wickets cheaply at times than in Test cricket, where you've almost got to earn every wicket because there's a lot more balls to play with. The batsmen have a bit more patience, although you won't find that much in today's day and age. Test matches finish in 4 days. So maybe in one-day cricket at times it's a little bit easier to get wickets if you can bowl well. The flip side to it is you can look equally worse in one-day cricket because you can, at times go for these days 100 runs in 10 overs might start looking a lot more regular if the one-day cricket goes the way it is. So, but the white ball is sometimes a bit harder to bowl with as well. The red ball maybe keeps swinging if the conditions are right throughout the day. The white ball, once it loses its lacquer, and because now 2 white balls are being used, it becomes even harder to get any reverse swing, especially in conditions like Australia and New Zealand. So sometimes you get a little bit more exposed as a bowler quickly in one-day cricket than you would in Test cricket.
Is this the best you've seen Umesh Yadav bowl?
I wouldn't know whether it's the best I've seen him bowl, but he's had a lot more control. And I think probably MS Dhoni's given him a bit more confidence to try and go for wickets, which he's done. And once, it's all about confidence, I think. The rhythm, when he came back after a long layoff injury, people said he wasn't bowling well in the nets, which I found hard to believe unless you play in a game, you don't know how well a guy is bowling. He's a special talent. I mean, not many Indians over the history of Indian cricket have run in and comfortably bowled over 140 clicks. So how control sometimes comes with confidence, experience, and with him I think it's more to do with confidence. Once he started playing regularly, you saw since the series in India against Sri Lanka, he started to get that confidence back, and now almost pitching the ball where he wants to at will. Bowling up sometimes doesn't come very easy because as a bowler you're sometimes tentative that you might get driven, but he's landing the ball in the right areas, and when you get swing at 140 plus Ks, it's a handful for any batsman in the world to face.
Yeah, use of the short ball been good by the Indians in this tournament?
Very good, and you've got to use it, especially with the big boundaries in Australia. New Zealand might be a little bit different, but if you've got pace like Umesh Yadav or Shami do, it's a very handy ball to have, because the amount of wickets that the Indians have got on short ball almost tells you that, you know, places like Melbourne or even Perth, where the square boundaries are big, you've got to use that. That is got to be one of your wicket-taking balls, because if the batsman does, most batsmen try to take it on because you've got to score in one-day cricket, and if you don't hit it well, you still have, you've got every chance of getting wickets. Plus, with the fields that the captains have to put these days with the restrictions, you can almost put a field to that ball.